Hey everybody, what's going on? I had really no specific intention of making a video today. Actually, when I was laying in bed, deciding when to get up and what to do before my schedule kicks in today. And one of the first things I do after I make my coffee and stuff is of course, I turn the computer on. Don't we all? Don't we all? Not everyone, but you know what I mean? The majority of the plugged in world, one of the first things we do is we check our media. We do for messages and what's going on. We're very adaptable like that. I still remember very clearly, even in the 90s, before I got a computer, I can still remember when the computer meant nothing, when it was abstract to me. And now it rules our lives. And yet if you were to talk to someone about that, they would act as if it had always been like this. Interesting, our short-term memory and stuff. Anyway, the reason why I decided to go ahead and make a video today was I went and checked and looked at my page and saw that when I looked, the number was exactly at 13,000. So I said, okay, that's cool. I'll acknowledge that. Sometimes the numbers go up and down, people unsubscribe, and sometimes it seems like the statistics come in late. So even though it says 13,000 now, it could go back down below. But still, the fact that 13,000 different people at one time or another have subscribed, even if they don't watch all the time, that's nice. That's a nice thumbs up. It's a nice click. That's part of the world we live in. To get a like is significant. For people to click on something that you put on the internet is significant. It's the world we live in, So it's significant that 13,000 subscribers have come to my channel and given me a thumbs up. Thank you all. I'm glad that you like me, because that's what's going on. It's just me being me. And, someone recently said that they were happy that I seem to be on a roll. And the thing is, that's just that's nice, but it's short-sighted. It's not, that view is not based in reality. Reality is that life is waves. We go up and we go down. And things have been going well lately for me. I've had a lot of neat stuff happen to share with you. And so that's been nice. But I'm also aware that I have these natural cycles, So there will be downtimes again. And the reason why I'm not speaking politics right now is because it's pointless. It's like we're stuck with this jackass. I don't know what's there to be said. I try to keep living, okay? Trump is a total disaster. You want to hear? You want to know what I think? There it is. So recently I did a bit of trading again, and spend a little bit as well, and I'll show you what I got. I haven't gone through everything real closely because I've been so busy, and that's a good thing. But the first thing I can tell you is this, because I heard from Matt Pekolsky of FPE Records. They're overjoyed with the last video I made because I like the music, and when I like something, I'm honest, okay? Like, for example, if you're a musician or a record label and you see a review where I'm really enthused, don't assume that I'm going to do that on every record. Check yourself. You got to be good. What you're doing has got to be good. Because if I don't like it, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to fake it. What I said about Quanqua is real. I listened to it again last night. I'm excited about playing on the radio. And I listened to Vox again all the way through. This is badass. FPE is onto something good here. Now, I haven't heard all your other artists, but what you sent me, I really, really like what's going on here. This is real music. This is real art. This is not some crap. This is not some crap product that someone is making just to make money. That's my problem with the mainstream. Their goal is to make money. And the way to do that is to keep you stupid and make you look dumb and keep you stupid. And it's real obvious. I could point it out to you with props and everything, showing you all the stuff that's going on in the world today that people blindly and foolishly just follow along to. We're idiots. So, some records that I got used. One thing for sure is it hasn't changed for me is that the way that I buy records is, of course I want the latest and the best, but I always try to make my money stretch. So I look to find as much as I can used in low price. And I did this last trip. So here's what I found. Some ECMs. Dave Holland jumping in. Steve Coleman, Julian Priester, and Kenny Wheeler in particular. Catch my ear on here. Excuse me. I'm here to dispel the myth that ECM records all sound the same. They absolutely do not. What ECM records have is an aesthetic. They have a level of quality that they always aim to maintain in their releases, in the music and the presentation. This is not a typical, there's not a typical sound. What we have here is a rather interesting, joy-filled session here. I've met Dave Holland and I've seen him play and I've heard a lot of his work. And I was surprised at the playful nature of this album. Nothing typical about it, and a good one. Here's one that I took and bought because Lalo Schifrin, like Ennio Morricone, was well known in the industry for his work in soundtracks for television and film. And it's right over here in my S section, but I've got a album by Schifrin that I love. It's kind of jazzy and kind of library music sounding. So when I saw this one for less than $5, at first I was thinking I didn't want to buy it because of the title. And then I said, okay, I'm going to get this. That's the title, all those words. The dissection and reconstruction of music from the past as performed by the inmates of Lalo Schifrin's demented ensemble as a tribute to the memory of the Marquis de Sade. If you know your history, you know about the famous Marquis de Sade, where the word sadism comes from. You know, he's into torture. I've only played a little bit of this, and it does not sound at all like the other album that I have by Schifrin. This is really light and trite so far. I'm hoping that there's at least one cool track on here, because that's another thing I found about library music albums and albums kind of like this, where there's a huge cheese factor. There's usually, because real musicians are involved, on a lot of these records, there's at least one good track. The musicians have to shine through somehow. Another ECM that I passed over for many times because I knew that Lester Bowie of the Art Ensemble was doing kind of a piss take on the old song, The Great Pretender. That's what I figured he was doing on here. Sure enough, that's what it is. Now, whatever his intention was in making a somewhat humorous, seemingly on the surface, version of the song Great Pretender, seems like it's starting to come through to me. Seems to me like, because the Art Ensemble has always had multi-levels of what's going on with their music, it just occurred to me that this piss take could actually really be a poke in the eye that no one has even noticed. Maybe. I'm going to listen to this again. Lester Bowie as a musician, rest in peace. Excellent trumpeter and scholar. So, happy to add this to my Lester Bowie and ECM collection. Here's the surprise of the ECMs. Richard Byrock, Elm, with George Mraz and Jack DeJohnette. This has been in the shop there for a long time used, and I just kept passing it over. I have another Byrock album where he plays with John Abercrombie, and it's nice, but it's like forgettable. This is substantial, like an elm tree, like the title, Elm. This is real good. The playing and the compositions and the feeling. That's the other thing about jazz and ensemble playing when it's live, is when things are right or going well, you capture a feeling, and that feeling comes across. And this is a good one. Elm by Richard Bayrock. Bayrock, however you say his name. I got a couple more. George Russell is a composer, musician who has done some great things. He, I think, is one of the first jazz musicians to marry jazz and electronic sounds back in the 60s. So I waited a while to get this album by George Russell and the Living Time Orchestra, the African Game. I noticed it was on Blue Note after Blue Note's done the revival. You know, Blue Note's been through its golden era, and this is after that. So I was thinking this could be 50-50. It's more like 70-30. This is 70% really good. It's a sweet, and it's based on African rhythms, and so he has... Now the thing that I think, because I love George Russell's work, but I think what takes away from this album, I got to tell you that first. It sounds to me like the African rhythm section is not all African, and I'm trying to see names of percussion players, because there's several parts. Okay, David Hagedorn. There are several percussive breaks on here that's trying to tie in the African thing, and it's, to my ear, it's too loose. It's not tight enough. But the compositions, for the most part, are pretty good. Two more. Another ECM, another Dave Holland album, another treat. Dave Holland Quintet, Seeds of Time. Not much to see on the cover here, but again, he's got that same group of people, and they, you know, it's a group, they have a vibe. This is really good. Once again, there is a mixture of sincerity and playfulness in the playing. I like this a lot. And then this was in the used section, so I was able to get it for fairly cheap. Viet Cong, the band Viet Cong, who had a bit of controversy about their name because everybody gets butthurt about everything these days. People don't seem to have any perspective about anything. Everybody gets offended, which to me is a sign of ignorance and stupidity. Yes, I think the world is much more stupid now than when I was a kid. Seems to me anyway. But the band Viet Cong had to change their name, and they changed it to Preoccupations. Wow, this is a really good band. I had heard of Viet Cong, but really only didn't pay much attention to them. This was in the used section. This is really strong. I hear there's a combination of things going on. I mean, I can hear the line of influence going back through Interpol to Joy Division. Then they do some instrumental stuff on here where it's just pure sound. You could call it ambient, except it's jarring and it's in your face. Man, this is really good. Preoccupations, new. Came out in 2016. Definitely not shoegaze, but rock-based. This is a band I'd love to see live. I bet this smokes live. Really good live. So we're at about that point where I like to stop so it doesn't take the computer all day to upload the video. Folks, thank you so much. I mentioned that Flyover CD. I sold it. It's going out today. I got more vinyl being sold. I'm selling more t-shirts. A coffee house, a new coffee house is opening up in Omaha called Zen Coffee. And I'm going to be the first artist work that they're going to display in the new coffee shop. I just met with the owners on Tuesday. Exciting things. Yeah, I'm happy to be well involved in my art and music. It is what I've always wanted. It's what I've been trying to do all my life, is just to be making music and art, and that's what I'm doing. The fact that I have so many friends and followers who are interested in what I'm doing or what I'm saying, it's a godsend. It's a blessing. Thank you, people. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with me.